What's up YouTube, Awesome Yu-Gi-Oh here, and today I'm here with a deck profile on Lightsworn Rulers. Now this is a deck that I've been playing for a very long time. Lightsworn, incredibly long, and Lightsworn Rulers pretty much since the new structure deck came out, so that's about half a year now, maybe even a bit longer. And it's a deck I have had a lot of fun with, and a deck I've been playing around with a lot, seeing what cards I want to play, whatnot. So pretty much this is a deck that I've built right now that's has been about the same for about 2 months, aside from some band list changes. But it's pretty much how I found this deck to run the best in a competitive way. So this is definitely one of the more competitive builds I have of any deck, concerning in testing and time invested. So yeah, I'll show you guys the list I've been running. I'll explain my choices. I'll also explain some of the choices I made concerning not running some cards. Yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So of course you have your triple Judgment Dragon. This is the bread and butter of the deck. This is your win condition. Then I played a 1 Lightray Diabolos and 1 Blaster, 1 Tempest. So this is it for the boss monsters, and this is actually the entire lineup for the boss monsters. So that is a 6 boss monsters instead of the 7 or 8 you might see in some other builds. Now the reasoning is very simple, it's consistency. You're going to see these fast enough since you're milling through your deck, and these are just resources in your grave as well. And just the 4 targets for the triple Eclipse Wyvern, making 1 Eclipse Wyvern dead at times. But you never want to open with too much of these cards. You can't open with like 3 of these cards in your opening hand, and your duel is just going to be that much more troublesome. So these 6, that's everything. So no Dark Arm Dragon. I do run some dark targets, but it's really not relevant enough. No Blackluster Soldier, for example. Once again, I am running darks, and of course you are running lights. And BLS can be used to banish the Eclipse Wyverns, which I'm running as well. But the Dragon Rule is just doing a much better job of it. Dragon Rule is being used easier of course as well with a milled Judgment Dragon or milled Lightray Diabolos, and the Dragon Rule is being just a bit more versatile, being able to banish more than 1 Eclipse Wyvern. So no Blacklisted Soldiers. Once again, this is pretty much necessary to run, and I didn't want to run any more of this because that's going to incredibly enhance the difficulty of your early game. So yeah, and BLS is kind of more like a win more card, because realistically you only need the 1 Dragon Ruler with the 1 Judgment Dragon, or even just 1 Judgment Dragon if you're just a hard druid, which of course can happen. Of course you don't have to banish it with Eclipse Wyvern to get it back to your hand. You can just draw into it as well instead of milling it. But pretty much once you get 1 Eclipse Wyvern rolling, you're pretty much set up with for an OTK if you know how to correctly play this deck and use the resources at a correct time, not just throw them out there. So yeah, this is it for the boss monsters. Then, like I said, the triple Eclipse Wyvern, this is just a must at 3. It is a bit annoying if you draw into them. Of course you do want to mill this card, but even if you draw them, you can get use out of them with Lumina, for example, discarding them, or just normal summon them. They are level 4, so you could sync with them with some of your tuners, or Exceed with them, or even just, which is a bit slower, but you can just set it just to make sure you get those, that JD banished, if you don't have anything other you want to normal summon. So that's it for the dragon part of this deck. Lightsworns, triple Lumina. Yeah, I have been contemplating running 2 of this, but I always found myself wanting to max out on Lumina. This is one of those cards that really gets you going, outs a lot of other problem cards. baits a lot of back row. So yeah, Lumina, I've just recycling some of the other Lightsworns as well. It's really important. The discard effect, if you have a Dragon Ruler in your hand, being able to get that to the grave, or a Necro Gardna to the grave, or like I said, the Eclipse Wyvern to the grave. Lumina is just too good not to run at 3. Double Lyla. Mostly this is for Vanity's Emptiness, to be honest. Set back row is pretty much chainable all of the time, so Lyla isn't as relevant as it once was against that, but yeah, this is definitely one of the better Lightsworns. Milling 3 as well is pretty good. This is a card that sometimes you just normal summon first turn because you don't have anything other to mill, just to get your stuff going. Milling 3 in the end phase is quite a hefty amount. Then double Raiden. Now this is a card people might run at 3, and I have been running it at 3, and I've even run triple Raiden with some reinforcements of the armies, which I'm not running anymore because reinforcements would be able to search out Raiden. But I found that 2 is actually plenty, because you do have a lot of normal summons, and you don't want to increase the normal summons even more, even though Raiden is a good card to open with. But you have your Kuribandits as well to open with. You have solar recharges, you have charge of the Light Brigade, you have a lot of first turn plays in this deck, so triple Raiden is just, it's not necessary. And being a tuner, that's just, you can just recycle that with Lumina, so that's fine too. Of course he does mill 4, and you can mill with him in the main phase, which gives a bit more speed to the deck. But 2 is absolutely fine. If you are running 3 and you don't agree, I suggest you just try how I'm running the build, and you'll find out that it's a lot more consistent. Consistency, being able to win your games. You might not be able to just straight up win games with the deck as some other people might be running it with cards like BLS if you draw the absolute nuts, which I pretty much never do, so for me that won't work. But let's say you are that guy who just sacks his BLS every goddamn time and has that triple JD with his first mill after you go charge with the Light Brigade into solar recharge or whatever, then yes, you might have a easier time winning. But with this you have a better chance of consistently winning more games, and it's a bit more skill incentive as well than some other Lightsworn builds are. But then you'll find out that 2 is definitely the correct number. And then just some of the one-offs, just to have some names. 1 Ehren, 1 Felice, 1 Wulf. So I kind of like both of these. So I want to run one of both, one of each. Of course, he is a bit bigger and he's somewhat easier. Definitely in attack, he helps with some pushes. But Felice is really good. Not only being a tuner, which it's sometimes actually kind of annoying, because sometimes you want to have the Raiden with the Wulf so you can synchro for something. Of course you can't go into a level 8 synchro with Raiden and the Felice. But also the attributing her to pop a monster can be quite relevant sometimes, and then milling 3 as well. So I've liked one of each. I don't want to run more of these, so what you could do is go double Felice, but then you skip a name in your deck, which I don't like. I really want to have a lot of names, so that I just have the 4 names and 5 different lights for Diabolos as soon as possible. So yeah, then I found one of each to be the best. If you were to run only one of these, then I guess Felice would be the better one. But you shouldn't. You should just run one of each. And I won't encourage you to increase the amount. So let's say 1 Wulf and then 2 Felice, because once again these are dead draws. Both Felice and Wulf. You don't want to increase those. I see I'm losing a bit of light. I'm sorry about that. I'll try and speed this up, but I do want to explain everything proper. So 1 Wulf, or 1 Wulf, yeah, and then 1 Garoth. This is one of those, when more cards you do want to Lumina in, sometimes. 1850, pretty big, gets you drawing a bit, but it's mostly just another name. That's the best he does. And then 1 Minevra. Once again, this is a card you don't really want to draw, but this is a good card to mill. Once again, another name, and then of course you get the other mill, so that's pretty good. And she's a level 3 tuner, which can be relevant when you have like a Wulf or something. Any of your level 4 non-tuners going into one of your level 7 synchros. Or even bluff the Star Eater, if you will. I'm not playing Star Eater or Leo, because you do have others outs against, for example, Clifford Towers, which Leo wouldn't be, but Star Eater would actually be out against Clifford Towers. But you do have some other outs, so for the higher level synchros, she's not really relevant, but you'll see what I am running in the extra deck in a little bit. Then the Darks, triple Kuribandit. This is pretty much the best first turn normal summon you have, even better than Raiden. Loads your grave up so fast and gets you one of your power spells. And then triple Necro Gardna is definitely better than Rainbow Kuriboh. I've been trying both, but Necro Gardna is just a lot more versatile. Something else I need to say about Necro Gardna. Yeah, Necro Gardna is actually pretty relevant as well. Not just like, oh, I'm milling cards, so let's just run Necro Gardna, but being able to stop some attacks really keeps you alive. That one turn you need to counter attack and push for an OTK yourself. That's it for the monsters. That's 27. So I run 2 times the amount of monsters as I'm running spells and traps, which means that pretty much with every 3 cards I mill, I'm milling 2 monsters, which is definitely a ratio I like. And every opening hand you should have at least 1 or 2 spells or traps, which once again is something I really like, because a hand with 5 or even 6 monsters is going to be a bit more of a difficult game state for you. Spells, of course, the 1 charge and the triple solar recharge. That's pretty standard, and you shouldn't play any less. Allure for death, Necro Gardnas, and even Kuribandits in your late game or mid or late game, getting rid of those out of your hands, plussing you a little bit. Foolish. This is an extremely versatile card, of course. You can hit the Necro Gardna to stop an attack. You can hit the 4th name if you need. You can hit an Eclipse Wyvern if you already have like a Dragon Ruler to pretty much search out Judgment Dragon, which is really good. This is a staple card in Lightsworn in my opinion. The 1 soul charge, you can make some really big soul charge plays in this deck. Not only can you synchro with cards you bring back, you can exceed with them, you can bring back Dragon Rulers to make a Dracossack for pretty much free, or Master of Blades, or a Big Eye. Soul Charge is a really relevant card in this deck. Not being able to attack isn't that big of a problem as well, because like I said, you can make a Dracossack, which can get rid of a card, you can make a Big Eye, which can steal a card, you can make Arcanite Magician, which gets rid of 2 cards, you can make Michael after a Soul Charge, so Soul Charge is absolutely busted. And then 2 Mystical Space Typhoon. I was actually running Mystical Space Typhoon for quite a while, but I found it to be necessary in some situations, necessary enough to run it, because you do get locked out by some cards like Skill Drain and then needs Emptiness. Now Emptiness is actually outable, because you do have a lot of big normal summons which can pretty much beat over stuff and get rid of the Emptiness. But yeah, double MST just makes that game 1 a bit more easy. So that's it for the spells. Then the traps, you have triple Needlebugs Nest. Opening Needlebugs Nest and Kuribandit is pretty much guaranteed to win you the game, unless you're instantly milling everything. And even if you do mill like, you're milling 10 cards, let's say you mill triple JD, the Diabolos, you're milling, I don't know, what else could you mill? And then you mill like triple Solar Recharge and the Charge of the Light Brigade. Let's just say that. And the Solar Recharge and the Charge of Light Brigade is with Needlebugs Nest. Because otherwise you could just add it back with Kuribandit. So let's say that. Even then, it's not a guarantee you're going to lose. Because like I said, the Lightsworns on their own can bring back, can put out quite a hefty amount of powerful cards in the extra deck. So triple Needlebugs Nest does give you the speed you need. and the power you need to OTK. Pretty much most of the time, if you resolve a Needlebugs Nest with a Kuribandit or double Needlebugs Nest or Needlebugs Nest plus Raiden, you're pretty set up to OTK the next turn. And then the last card is one Threatening Roar. This just gives you an extra turn. I've absolutely loved this card. It's chainable. The only problem these cards have is that you're making Night Beams live, which some decks are running. That's the only problem, because MST doesn't matter, you can just chain it and they lost the MST, so that's fine. But the Night Beam, if you only have one of these, so you can chain them on each other, that can be a bit troublesome. So what you might have to do is preemptively flip these if you're expecting a Night Beam. But this is definitely a card I absolutely loved, because it gives you one more turn to mill, one more turn to just pretty much not die, so you can kill your opponent. That's pretty much it. So that's it for the main deck. Now of course, I'm going to get these. Why aren't you running Honest? I'll get back to that in a minute, because Honest is a 2 now, and of course, well, this entire deck is live, but I'll get to that in a minute. I'll show you the extra deck first. You have your one Felgrand. This is for double Judgment Dragon. That's actually another out against towers as well. No, not like this. If you special summon one Judgment Dragon, yeah, he loses 500 attack. That's fine. You blow everything up if they have something. Otherwise, you just special summon the other Judgment Dragon. You overlay these two into a Felgrand and special summon the third Judgment Dragon. Felgrand makes Judgment Dragon unaffected by the attack decrease of towers, and Judgment Dragon can now just crash into the towers, and now you are left with the Felgrand. Now, of course, this requires you to be able to drop triple JD. The way I'm playing it, that's actually not that difficult, to be honest. That's actually something, what I just did was actually something I experienced in real life. So the one Felgrand, but it's also just if you don't have enough cards in deck left to mill, just make the Felgrand. Felgrand is just a really safe card. Big Eye, of course, for the Dragon Rules and Diabolos, Dracossack, and Master of Blades. And then we have the rank 4s. Exciton, Lavalval Chain is so busted. Not only to, once again, get a name or get a Necro Gardna in your grave. The stacking might actually be relevant with a Lumina, for example. But you can also send Eclipse Wyvern or send the Dragon Ruler if you already have the Eclipse Wyvern. This pretty much, if you're at a point in a duel in which you want to summon Lavalval Chain and you can't summon Lavalval Chain, you've probably won that game. Silent Arc, Castel, and Dweller. So I'm not running Star Leech. That is really simple. People feel like they should run Star Leech just because you have the lights, and Star Leech can only be made by lights, so if he's not generic, he should be better. That's not the case. Pretty much anything that Star Leech takes care of, this takes care of as well, or this takes care of. This takes care of whatever Star Leech would take care of. Only these are more generic, and just better all around than Star Leech. So there's absolutely no reason to run the Star Leech except for the drawing. But then again, this protects itself from getting destroyed in the first place. So yeah, absolutely no reason to run Star Leech, just saying. And then I play one Leviair for the rank 3, this is double Lumina, getting back those Eclipse Wyverns to make some big pushes. I'm losing a lot of light. I'm sorry, these cards look a lot darker now. When I started, there was pretty much light enough, but the sun faded away. So yeah, Leviair, this allows some big pushes. Then the one level 8 I'm running is Crimson Bladers, pretty much the best level 8 synchro right now in the game. It's a pretty good card against Shaddoll. And it's a big card as well, 2800. I definitely wouldn't use Stardust, but you might use Scrap Dragon, but then again, there's not a lot of cards you want to destroy of your own, and a lot of cards float right now, so Crimson Blader definitely the better option in my opinion. Black Rose, Yazi, this can easily win you the game against Burning Abyss, just on its own. Michael, such a good card. People underestimate the card a lot, but paying 1,000 and being able to banish any card your opponent controls, it's so good. And then, like I said, the Arcanite. And then some Dracossack tokens. Arcanite, of course, is pretty easy to make because you do need a non-tuner spellcaster type, but that's pretty much Lumina, what's going to be used most of the time. Lumina, ditch something, get back Raiden, and then you can just synchro into Arcanite. So then the side deck. We have Triple Max C. This is, of course, for the Burning Abyss matchup. And then I am siding. Yes, there it is, double Honest. I'm siding to Honest. Now, why am I not main decking this? That's really easy, because this is not a good card to be main decking right now in a Lightsworn build as I want to run it. And why is that? Because this is not a good draw on its own. This is a card that's dependent on other cards in your deck. This card doesn't do a lot against a lot of decks. For example, this card's pretty much sits dead in your hand unless you normal summon something, but then it's really obvious that you have it against Shadows, because Construct just destroys special summon monsters before they go into damage calc. Against Burning Abyss, this card isn't that relevant, because when you destroy a Dante by battle, they just get stuff back. This card is really good against Clifford's. It's an out against towers, which I've noticed people are siding in, or if they're not maining it, towers against Lightsworn, especially if they haven't seen the Honest. Now here's the thing about Honest, which I absolutely love about side decking this, and this is some, yeah, how do you call it, some mental use of Honest. Now in game 1, people are going to be expecting you to have Honest. Especially if you start normal summoning with a Raiden or a Lyla just to mill some stuff. They're going to play around Honest. But you don't actually have Honest in your deck, so you're not risking milling this and just gaining nothing from it, except for maybe soul charging it back. But then after a game, and you've milled like 20 to 30 cards of your deck and they haven't seen Honest, they might think you don't have Honest. That's when you can side this in, because now they're not playing around Honest, and now you can punish them for not doing that with Honest. So I absolutely love siding this card. I definitely would not main deck this card. Not only because of the mental issue, like I was saying, how much advantage this card gives you in that regard, but just because it's a dependable card and it's a terrible mill, which I don't want to run too much of. So yeah, and I just like the 40 cards I'm main decking right now better than main decking Honest. But as a side deck card, I love this. So there's the explanation on Honest as promised. The one Raikou, another name, and it's a decent card to side deck against some floodgates. The third MST, that's just needed. Because floodgates, Soul Drain, Emptiness, Cosmos, Dimensional Fissure, if people are even running that, of course. Fissure, Cosmos and Soul Drain, you can out with Lyla as well. But yeah, you just want to have a bit more of these in game 2 and 3. The Snatch Tool, which is absolutely ridiculous in Lightsworns. You can pretty much use anything to Snatch Tool. You can Snatch Tool Dante, just to mill some stuff for yourself. Definitely if they have the tour guide under it. You can just mill 3 for no reason. Snatch Tool is ridiculous. In the Book of Moon, it's a really good defensive card I like to side deck in Lightsworns. I've been main decking this for a little bit, but like I said, I wanted to put MSTs in the main deck, so this was one of the cards I had to drop. But it's really a good card against Burning Abyss to side in. One Day of Peace, it's one of those cards against, for example, mostly Clifford. Clifford don't need anything if they have their scout set up, so if you give them the draw, really makes no difference, because they already have everything they need in a scout and a sacrifice, whatever, you know, what they have, they have. So yeah, and then once again, it's just like Threatening Roar, only it gives you a bit more speed for yourself. It gives you the turn to just overpower your opponent and just straight up destroy them in one turn for yourself. So One of Peace, another card I like to side deck against some matchups. Double Breakthrough Skill, mostly for Winda, because Winda can be a bit of a problem for this deck. Of course, I'm siding in Honest against that as well. And then Triple Decree, because a lot of back row can hurt you. Now, monsters generally win from back row, so your Satellarknight matchup, for example, is pretty decent, but this just helps. So there's no reason not to get these in games 2 and 3, for example, against like I said, Stellanites, or even more rogue decks like Giga or something. So yeah, that's the deck. In the comment section down below, let me know what you think of this deck. You can try and argue with some of these choices that I've made. If you have a valid argument, please do. But know that I have been testing this really hard for a really long time. So yeah, I'm pretty much set on my choices right now. But yeah, if you have anything to improve, or at least you think you have anything to improve, leave that down in the comment section down below. Otherwise, I hope this deck profile helped you improve your Lightsworn Ruler deck. Yeah, I hope you guys have fun with this. It's really a deck I like to run. It's more of a skillful deck than people give it credit for, even though you can be a bit dependable on your mills, of course. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys with the next video, which I have no idea what that's going to be, but yeah, just have to be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!